Everything is that related to what we call I. But we take I to be a person, a separate entity, an individual. Instead of, as they say, it's I that is that. It's I that is everything. I is a symbol for the figure one. They're written the same way, one, I. But we're not satisfied with that. Add the beingness to it is the amness, or the awareness, or knowingness. I am. Now, we don't sit with the I amness as in psychedelia. I'll just stay with that sense of presence, which translates to the thought I am. Stay with that I amness. We haven't put the person or any other concept on it. But that's what we do. What is this, me or I? Or go back, look in memory to see what it is. Or I am this body, I am this mind. The parents told me I'm little Johnny or little Billy. And I've reinforced that through my life without questioning it, taking it to be real, and realising that everybody around us is doing the same thing. There are a few that have seen through it. They'll tell you, don't go there, you're not that. Not that you are not existing. Because you say, that's all crap, I am existing, I can't deny it. But, and we've taken it immediately, I am the person, I am this body, I am this mind. That's what I was told, that's what I've kept believing, that's what I've reinforced. And everybody around me is reinforcing it. Until something moves me further along and I start hearing something, it might be a word, or read something, it might be a sentence in a book or something, something that rings a bell, that resonates. And in that ring, what I call ringing a bell and resonate, the innate intelligence that you are, the activity of knowing, is recognised, there's something a little bit more to this than the conceptual imaging, which bringing up the fears, the anxieties. Because in that ringing a bell, in that resonation, there's a sense of well-being in it. This seems right, this seems actual, this seems real. And we come along and try to find out a bit more. But just investigate the words. In the beginning was the Word. That's when everything began, was the Word. When that subtle vibrating came on, and we learnt words. The Word was with God. That's all that God is a word. The Word was God. All things were made by Him. Have a look at this manifestation. It's all Word. Trees, flowers, space, animals, birds, insects, humans, everything are all concepts of words. There was nothing made without the Word. If you're going along without the Word, what are you doing? You're seeing everything just as it is. You don't see an homogeneous solid mass out there. You see it in all its seeming individuality, in all its sense of separation, and you're knowing what it is. But to make it clearer, we put words on words. Each one of us uses the same words for the same different things, so we know what we're talking about. So language can be very useful. But it's also, when it tells you, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm fearful, I'm unhappy, or I'm depressed, all these sensations that come up that are not the feel-good sensations, we label them as the opposite. They're bad. And naturally, we want to stay with the feel-goodness all the time, not realising and recognise that in nature, it's all a constant change. It's all transient. It's always day, night, winter, summer, high, low, good, bad, pleasant, pain. We put those labels on, but it's functioning quite naturally. It's the absence of darkness right now, so it's light. As the earth rolls around the sun a bit further and faces towards it, that facing towards it will be the light. And this side is facing away from it will be the darkness. And the seasons start. As the sun's in a certain place in the sky, whatever it is, I don't know, I'm not a weatherman or anything, it'll become as it is now. The winter is just ending. It's heading towards more light, more clarity, and more radiance of the sun, which will be the spring, the summer, and autumn. So everything is functioning as it should, even you and I. But we're putting the brakes on, we're putting the limitations on with the word, with the concepts. And we think, because we've gone to schools, and society's told us, we've learnt many things and acquired many things, and their parents have told us, we think we're going to find the answer with the word. And how we're all adults right now. We learnt words when we were kids. We're still learning words. And we've probably looked for quite a while to find the answer. And very simple. It's all mind stuff. What we put the concept on all this labelling, we call it mind. And we're looking for the answer in the mind. Do you think you're going to find mind in mind or with mind? It can't. It can only bring up more mind, like trying to wash away blood with blood. It'll still only be blood. And the ancients tell us the answer when the mind is not. Full stop. Pause the thought. Don't go there. Different labels are put on it, which you can't do naturally, but the innate intelligence will take you prior to the thought, prior to the concept, prior to the image, and you'll get the taste of it. And keep recognising that, coming back and recognising when they get carried away with thoughts again. Pause, drop them as soon as possible. And naturally, the more clarity there is, it's not less obscuration that's going on with the thoughts, and there's more clarity, the natural functioning comes through much clearer. And it becomes naturally what you call stronger, because the conceptual imaging starts to drop away. And the fears and everything that go with it got nowhere to fixate on, and they're not fixating to the concept, relating to the concept and becoming the concept or the word. Like how close is this word Bob related to this pattern, shape and form? Or the label you put upon yourself. Isn't that seemingly very close? This is me, this is I. And so what am I? I am Bob, or this thought or this concept. But this is me, this is I, is that sense of presence. I can't negate. It is that existence. It is that consciousness. It is that beingness and loving to be. And that's what they mean when they say, I am that. And they just don't put it on me or you, they say everything is that. Innately you know that because you say that as a tree. We've gone from that, put the label on a tree, that is the flower. That is Tony, that is me, that is you. Everything is that pure presence awareness, pattern, shaping, form, which we put the label that on. We don't recognise or register or see the simplicity of this, the actuality of it, because we're so used to conceptualising it, trying to work things out with the mind. It can't be this simple, because that's our habit pattern, looking for the answer in the mind. And with maths and things like that, naturally you'll find work things out with figures and numbers, things like that, and other things can be worked out. But the actuality, the reality that you are, is always and ever with you, ever fresh, ever knowing, ever present awareness. Always has been and always will be. So instead of going and looking, what's next or what does this mean? Or something's coming up, who is this happening to? And you don't have to be a rose-coloured record, well, it's happening to me. I'm feeling it. I'm unhappy about it. I'm depressed about it. Well, wait a minute, that idiot up there said there is no me. Is he right or is he wrong? You know, I'll have another look. What is I or me? They're words. If I take those words, what is it? Without the word again, what are you without the word? You can't even put the word being on it or existing on it. But it's happening. You can't even say I am not, because the very knowing behind it all is that I am. There's a pure knowingness there, or a pure intelligence. And that's all intelligence is, energy is, the activity of knowing, because intelligence or an activity is a movement. And the knowingness or the movement is going on with it. Breathing, heart beating, hair and fingernails going, food's being digested, thinking coming and going, feelings. It's all movement, all energy, discriminated by the word. So it doesn't mean to say you have to be away with words either. But put more understanding and recognition into it, that the word isn't a thing. It can be useful, it's not me. Keep recognising the thatness, the pure present awareness existing right in this moment. Recognise. They call it a cognising emptiness. We think it's that emptiness that has the capacity of cognising or knowing. The capacity of cognising or knowing is there, yes. But it's not me that's doing it. It's the emptiness itself that's vibrating into that cognising, patterning, shaping form. And they said the emptiness is form. The emptiness, the no thingness, can vibrate into something seemingly solid and substantial, a form, a shape, a pattern. But then they tell you, look at it and see that the form is nothing but the emptiness. The emptiness is the form here, but the form is nothing but the emptiness. Never has been or never will be. Appearing as a difference. So they call this a manifestation. It's Maya or illusion, a phenomenal manifestation. Your dictionary definition of phenomena, that word phenomena, is that which appears to be. And what is appearance? It's seemingly so. Because when you look at the water in the sea, it's not blue, it appears to be. Look at the sky, it's not blue, it appears to be. The water in the mirror appears to be. Many other things that appear to be so. When you investigate them, they say the appearance is not real. So it's that emptiness, it's all that emptiness appearing as this manifestation. And it's only the one. Not even the one, because one implies there's something other. So we've got the idea of one. There's an implication, there's one. That's the way we've been taught. As soon as there's one, there's two. Then there's two and three and four. It's not even a one, it's just this actuality right here, right now. And you are that. We've taken on this belief we're separate. When you investigate and see, try and work out, you realise you can't remember your birth, and you don't remember any words from the time you were born for the first couple of years of your life. So you didn't begin to, as far as you were concerned and I am concerned, we didn't begin to alert words. And from then on we've taken a word to be the real, put labels on everything, and invested all the recognition into the conceptualising, into the word. So settle back into your natural state. Natural meaning as in nature. The sun's not trying to work out its natural state. The air, the fire, they're all naturally happening. So just the same as you naturally appeared and are still naturally living. We think we're going to lose so many things and all the rest of it. We go, this, stop looking for this and looking for that. But realise you couldn't acquire any of these things if the heart wasn't beating, the breathing wasn't happening, the life, the thinking wasn't going, and the words weren't there. So let that natural functioning go on. Investigate it, recognising it, and stay with it until that realisation, the absolute realisation, I am that existence, I am that consciousness, I am that loving to be, I am that Sat Chit Ananda. And the Nama and Rupa, the name and form, are patterns which enable that expression to be so. Because if I didn't have this body and the thinking that goes on in it, the brain, the heart, the lungs and all the organs, I couldn't say a word, couldn't do anything. So that instrument is very useful, just like a computer is a useful instrument. Got some wonderful information in it. But you haven't got the power on, you can't get anything out of it. And if that natural life essence wasn't functioning through each and every pattern in this room, what would you be then? You'd be a corpse. That pattern would begin to rot and break down. But breaking down, it goes back into its totality, and other pattern shapes and forms can express and manifest and express through it. Again, come into being, play around for a while, disappear. Appearance, phenomena, and disappearance. Lack of disappearance of phenomena. With that birth, we've taken this concept of I, we've learnt words from our parents, and you weren't born with any words. Every word you've ever spoken has been picked up along the way. And we've taken the word to be real. And everything has become with the investment in this word. And we know the life is going on. We can't negate it. But we've got no idea what it is, not leaving it in its natural self-aware functioning state. We want to grasp it with a concept. As Nisargadatta tells you, we try to grasp it with a concept and we fail. Because it's non-conceptual awareness. You'll never grasp it with a concept, with a thought, idea or word. And that's what I say in the start off. Recognise this as your problem, see through it, and you can utilise words then and they won't be the problem. What's the sensation, fear, if you're not putting the label on it? When did you put that word fear on it? When you were first told you it was fear, when you were a little child, this one's fear, this one's anger. And forever after, when that same sensation come up, you put the label on it. Instead of seeing everything as it is, everything is fresh and new in this moment, because it's nothing time-bound. It's all fresh and new. It's self-seeing, self-aware, self-knowing. It's the one self, not a personal self. As soon as we put the labels on it, it's me or I am self. Me, myself. We call it me or myself. But it's the one self appearing, patterning, shaping, forming and expressing as everything. And you are that self. The same self that's expressing as you is if waving the branches around in that tree outside, causing the sap to run around that tree. And everything else out there. So you're not separate from anything. And with that lack of separation, who is there to fear? Who is there to be angry? Who is there to want or to need or to care for? Any of those spontaneous activities will take place if necessary for the functioning in the moment. But we won't be relating it to the believed in me, trying to fix the me, which is already perfect, absolutely perfect as you are. With all the aches and pains and things going on, it mightn't seem like what you call perfect. Why wouldn't it? Because you've got that concept of what you think perfect is. Not perfect as it is, but perfect as I'd like it to be, because I've got some conceptual image. Not realising that everything is the absolute, everything is the great perfection. And they tell you the great perfection is non-conceptual awareness. That label awareness. Are you unaware? No. You can't say anything about awareness, but innately you know what awareness is. It's that wakefulness or being. Without any concepts, that's the natural state. So we try to grasp it with a concept. That's all that's necessary to do. Take that as a given and look into it. And every time a concept comes up, if you're taking delivery of it and getting causing fear or anxiety or stress with it, investigate it. See it for what it is. And they will fall away. And some of you have had taste of this. A lot of you, if you haven't lodged totally totally in the understanding, you know when you've had moments when there's been clarity there. We've dropped it and gone back into the old habitual way. And it's understandable because you've reinforced that belief in your separate entity from the time you started reasoning right up until the moment you see through it. And so it can come up of itself of moments, which it does. And why did that, or how did that happen? That was great. But then you drop back into the past. And what is the past? Say, this is the past, investigate that. Is there such a thing as a past? Is past an actuality? Try and live yesterday. Try and live last week or last year. You can't go back and live a moment ago. But you can recall to a certain, a lot of the things I can't recall anymore of the past because they're no longer of any importance at all, especially in the early childhood and things like that. And the only actuality you're giving anything is when you're recalling it right now. The recollection of it is right now because you can't live a moment ago. And that's where you've got to understand time. So-called time itself, which is duration, from 6 billion light years ago now, that means duration, a lasting thing. But the time is spontaneous. It's got no duration. The same with the future. You can imagine or anticipate a future time. But can you live that time in the future right now? Go ahead to 5 minutes from now. Are you living there? You can imagine and anticipate what it might be. And when it comes along, it mightn't be quite as you imagine it and anticipate it. It'll be totally different. So when we look at the actuality is you haven't moved away from this presence awareness. Without that concept, without that knowing that you are. This isness. See, I've got to use concepts to even give you some idea. But what you are, or how you are, or why you are, right here and now, you've never moved away from it. So if you take that concept of time off, it makes it a lot easier. Take the obscurations of it, the thoughts and things that's blocking it, there's much more clarity there. And what that life essence is, it is light. Energy is light. That's what Christ told you. I am the light of the world. People thought he was talking about himself, but when that light, that essence that he is energy, it lights up the world. And it's the same with you and me. What world could you see if that light of energy wasn't functioning through you? Nothing. If you've got any things to work out in the mind, and they can be worked out in the mind, work about it. Mathematics and things like that. But the answer to life is this immediacy. You are already that life. What can you add to it? What can you take away from it? Nothing but concepts that discriminate it, that make it seemingly appear as other than what it is. Investigate this me and see how that me comes about. It's a thought you learn when you first learned words. You told your little Johnny or little Billy, and you learnt words from your parents. I am, the basic knowing. I am, not I was, not I will be, but I amness. Amness is a sense of presence, the beingness. And not good enough. I am Bob. My parents told me I'm Bob. And then I look out there, I get the capacity of reading, and I go, that doesn't fit, Bob. So that's not me. Now there's become a me and a not me, because I see something that I can't relate it to this conceptual image I've got. If I'm not related to the conceptual image, what is it? It's just like me. This essence I got of myself, it just is. This sense of presence is right now. And that chair, that flower, that world, everything out there is. It is. Not was, not will be. So we learnt these words, and that's when our problems came about, because you can't do much with this I or me. What can you do with it? I or me? Nothing. So we put concepts on it. I'm Bob, and that's not Bob then. I'm this and it's not that. And put labels on the other things. And so we put concepts or words on everything. And we try and grasp our true nature, this I-ness, with a concept. Into what we've understood or what we reckon. I'm Bob, I'm Australian, I'm a good fella, I'm unhappy, I'm feeling, I'm sad, or with all these feelings, thoughts and images, and jealous, envy, angry, greedy, all these concepts are put on. And the seeming discrimination now becomes seemingly real. Instead of seeing all as it is and let it be as it is, it'll change. Now, we don't want it to be like that. So I'm going to change it. I'm going to resist it as it is. And resistance is conflict. And conflict is disease, because it makes me uneasy, all these conflicts going on. And uneasiness is disease. Putting labels on it, or concepts on it. Now I've got the concepts, me, Bob, this Australian, is unhappy, or it's fearful, and it's anxious, and all this room. All different concepts. Take these concepts to be real, and I think, well, I've got to work out this concept in the mind. Right here and now, show me your mind. Is there anything solid and substantial there that you can say, this is mind? Without a thought all, there is no such thing as mind. I can't give something in their shape, form, or anything at all until a thought comes up. So all the mind is thought. And if I was the mind, which particular thought? Well, that's easy. I am this I thought. This is me. Because I believed it all those years. But now I might question it. And see, what am I without the thought? There's no real concept you can put on it. We can say, I am this essence, or isness, or right here and now. I can put all those concepts on, and they're not too bad because I'm not loading it down with appearances. But this, what we call nowness, is ever fresh. If it's timeless, it's got no duration, when does it begin? It's beginning right now. When is it ending? It's ending right now. Because there's no time, no duration, how can I make it last? I can't. It's ever fresh, presence awareness. And it's only this, nothing else. So look into it and see. I'll go into that and go into again that the me is false. You're seeing right now, and you're hearing right now. Ask yourself a simple question. Well, can my eyes does my eye tell me I see? Realise my eye is not saying anything at all. It's got no words, no concepts, but it is an instrument through which the seeing is happening. So how can I say anything about it if it's not translated by the word or the concept? I see. The same with the hearing. Hearing is not saying ear's not saying listen to this, listen to that, they can't say anything. So the eye is not saying I see, the ear's not saying I hear. Concepts come up, I see, and those concepts are me, Bob, the conceptual image. Thinks it has the capacity of seeing and hearing. So it needs to be questioned, can the thought I see? I realise the thought can't see. Can the thought I hear? Thought I can't hear. The thought I am awareness. I'll put all these concepts in the talk on you and I say I'm telling you they're not the truth, really. Thought I'm aware, is that your awareness? No, but you know you're not unaware at the moment. You know you're not unseeing at the moment. You know you're not unhearing. These things are going on naturally and spontaneously, which we put the eye on to discriminate. So you're that functioning life essence or intelligence that's doing all these things without the label. And you realise the thought I see can't see, the thought I hear can't hear, the thought I'm aware is not yet awareness, the thought I choose is not the choice maker. So this believed in conceptual image, the thought up entity, me, can't see, can't hear, aware, can't be aware, can't choose, can't breathe, can't do anything at all. What am I going to do then? Well, then the realisation come in, well, I'm not disappearing if I can't do any of these things. That amness or beingness is still there, so I must be that. And take the life essence out of that body, as I say, you've got a corpse. Can't see, can't hear, can't be aware. All those organs are being utilised by that life essence that's functioning through them. The eyes, the ears, the mouth, the heart, the lungs are not a bit of good without that energy, that life energy going through it. Like a computer's no good without the energy going through it, the life essence, the power. And that power is what you call God. The omnipotence, the total power, the omniscience, the total intelligence, omnipotence, omnipresence, the total presence. The beingness, unendingness, everything that's happening in that is what you are. So it's up to each and every one of us to investigate. Some have, and it's resonated with them, and they'll tell you about it. Others are still having problems. And always come back to that. While ever there's a thought or a concept or an image there, you'll never ever grasp it with the mind. Because the mind is a fiction. So get into it.
When you're speaking, Bob, the words that come through, it's like about the awareness recognising the words, isn't it? It's not about the mind. Because I just went through a shift like where it was the mind trying to grasp it and then work with it, investigate. And now it's the awareness that's doing the recognition of it. It's going into a different place.
You like to call it that. It's the life, very life of you or the awareness that's forming those concepts, forming with you to utilize that pattern through the brain and that to express through and all the rest of it. It's that life essence or awareness that's doing everything.
Yeah.
It's all there is. And that's
it's like
what
it's been absorbed into the awareness, not from the head.
Well, it's the awareness, the vibration that's forming it in the first place.
Right, yeah, okay.
But in that particular pattern, the brain is utilising, it forms these words, concepts, which we all use similar words, but all whatever is necessary for that pattern. That's enabling you to breathe right now. It's beating your heart, growing your hair on your fingernails. All those cells suffused with that innate intelligence is changing in your body right now. It's growing new skin cells, liver cells, heart cells, all of it. It's the one essence that's patterning, shaping, forming, experiencing, and pattern is everything. We
because
could.
the mind's not really involved a lot in the investigation.
There's no such thing.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right.
How can it be?
The thinking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what
Okay.
It's still a very useful instrument. You'll still utilise it, but no, that's what it is.
Mm.
Of itself, it's got no power.
Yeah. Good. Thanks.
You are that already.
Mm.
And also, if you think about, because just before the meeting started, I don't know who said it, but I heard some conversation that the next retreat is going to take you to the next level, or it's going to be next level towards what Bob is saying. Like Bob is saying nonsense, the next level is going to be the real thing. The good question is, where are the levels? All the levels are in the mind. So what you were just saying, that everything just happens, the mind is also part of that vibrating energy. So I would not have absolutely any judgment towards someone who would have the belief like this, because you're not the doer of the belief. It's just belief is just showing up. And it's an innocent belief. But to actually see that any belief and expectation that next retreat is going to be next level towards what Bob is teaching, because he is a beginner or basic, or is going to take a person to a next level, because it's the person that is gradually getting more and more, is a belief. Totally innocent thought appearing in the mind. And what Bob is showing is non-conceptual awareness. It's something that is beyond the mind, which contains any beliefs. So there is no next level, unless you want to go to the mind and, of course, imagine all that things and persons getting it. Because then this is the point when, if you really hear what he's saying, the seeking ends. There is no need for anything more. And when the seeking ends and repeatedly stepping back from that imagination happens, it reveals itself, the levels. There's no levels. There's just ever fresh, moment to moment, ever fresh disappearance of the universe, like in the flashes, because it's not that suddenly the body dies and the end is, the dream ends. It's happening, but it's being recognized. So nothing wrong in hopes and expectations for future, nothing wrong with looking for some better teachers or anything like that. It's just part of the functioning, but recognizing the futility and the what it is a conceptual ideas in the head may actually be a breakthrough, maybe of help, because you're gonna just keep getting disappointed by going this path. You can go through another 100 teachers and believe that the next retreat or next teacher will be the next level or will be better, but it's still happening in conceptualizing, in the imagination. So dropping off right now doesn't mean that you're not going to find yourself in the next retreat. Well, you may. Who knows where the consciousness will take itself, for the adventure, not for the seeking. But yeah, it was just to add to what you were saying, that when Bob was, and I seriously, the heater is so loud, I have no idea where it came from. I just heard a couple of people agreeing that yeah, that is going to be it. So just felt like clarifying, because it is a trap. It is a mind trap. Believing in things like this can just keep you stuck in the seeking path forever. It's not necessary.
So what you were saying before, Adrian, the me doesn't see, the me doesn't hear, the me doesn't taste. Yeah. So there's hearing, seeing, tasting, touching, smelling. Yeah. And the me can't experience any of that. Zero. Okay? But what's also happening is there's understanding happening. And it's not the me
Okay.
that's understanding.
Yeah.
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 So when
It's just understanding.
yeah. And it's so it's not the me that's listening.
Mm.
It's not the me
Yeah.
that's hearing.
Yeah.
It's not the me that's being spoken to, and it's not the me that is responding. Yeah?
Mm.
That's what Bob means by relax.
Mm.
Relax. But it just happens. Yeah? And we go, yeah, but I'm moving my hand. That's the me. believing that it's moving its hand, and it's not. If you asked me to move my hand, if you said, do that, yeah, and I did that, it's not the me that heard that.
Yeah, okay.
It's not the me that's responding to that. Yeah? That's why Bob says at the beginning of the meeting, I'm not talking to any mind or anybody.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm talking to that I am that I am, or that presence or awareness that I am. And that's where it can get really tricky, because we've believed for so long that I'm doing this.
It feels like you're really doing it.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, until it's seen that.
But who's doing it?
Life.
It's just come bubbling up from awareness.
Yeah, it's just, you can't even name it.
Don't
you know,
put a concept on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just,
It's
you
just
know,
happened.
it's, yeah, if you want to put just going to put a concept on it. It's who you really are. Okay? It's who and what you really are. Or, you know, Nisargadatta would say it's your real nature. It's who you really are. Not the believed in me. That's a concept too. Even what I just said is a pure concept.
To even say anything is going one step too far.
Yeah.
Sort of.
But, talking happens. Questions happen. Talking happens. So it's not like we just, everyone shuts down. You know, that'd be a me choosing to shut down anyway. You know? So it's just, yeah, I mean, eventually
Yeah.
the questions stop coming up. They don't need to anymore. Kind of, you know, like when you're a kid, you might believe there's a boogeyman under the bed, and you're scared to get out of bed.
I used to think that.
Yeah, kids do. Yeah, you're scared to get out of bed. Yeah, until eventually we get old enough and mature enough to know there's not a boogeyman under the bed. Then that fear just dissolves, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's seen, it's known, it's not real. So
It's
that dissolves.
It's just that thought.
Yeah, it just dissolves. So questions come up and eventually they dissolve. Pointers get used. When the pointer's seen, or what's being pointed at is seen, that pointer is dropped. You don't even consider it again.
Yeah.
It's just dropped. Yeah. So it's just, yeah.
I just want to thank you because of there was a video on your YouTube on your profile, Saddle Cat.
I can hardly hear you.
Sorry, you know, I just want to thank you because you said something which was very useful for me for self-inquiry. You said just give your whole body to awareness. And
Yeah, just now.
yes, and I could do the exact thing, which is I'm doing actually. I just allow, you know,
Yeah.
and I could feel things happening
Wonderful.
because I stepped back. So when I was step forward, because I was in the same level with those stuffs, I couldn't feel them. But when I stepped back, I could see them and feel them. So I count that as a progress.
Yeah, watch out with the ideas of progress too.
Not progress, awakening.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Progress of process of dropping.
Yeah, I guess the words are difficult
When
here.
you said before, allow,
Mm.
what does that mean? Everybody should appreciate it. Let it be. It's allowing something to happen, isn't it? Good.
Exactly. I let it be physically and mentally.
It's like a dissolving.
Yeah, go outside one day and have a look at in the sky, and you might see don't get a big one, take too long, but a small cloud and watch it on the sunny one. You'll see it expand and just dissipate into space, dissolve. That thought's like that. Plane goes up in the sky and there's some adverse which sky riding goes on. All those words are in the sky. How long do they last? And where do they go?
Thank you, Kat.
Thank you. I'll just add one thing to what Bob was saying today. There was quite a bit about, well, its importance is always quite a bit about words. When we learn, and the learning process creates that, I mean, labeling things out of existence, out of unknown, when we learn what things are. And then we study about them, and then we learn even more about them, and then we distinguish whatever it is, you know, farming potato, music, or mathematics, whatever it is. We feed it with constant quality attention, which is the life essence. And as we put that life essence or attention into it, it starts becoming more and more diverse and more detailed and more real. That's how things become real. Like Bob is saying, the cloud on the sky, it really just shows up and it dissolves. Nothing holds it there. The thought in the mind, it comes and it goes, and nothing holds it there. But the identity, the self-identity, got so much investment, so much of the precious life essence or attention going and feeding it, and how it realizing it or making it real, creating, like believing it into existence, that it almost feels solid. There's nothing solid about it, because if we look at that identity, the components of the identity changed. Like my self-evaluation when I was 5-year-old as a girl, and my self-evaluation, if there would be any, throughout the time is constantly changing. The height and the intelligence and even the intellect, all of those things are constantly changing. But the whole unit is constantly fed with the belief that it is a separate unit. It doesn't change. It feels like there is clouds or thoughts, singular thoughts, they passing, but unit is there, even though every brick in the unit is changed. Like every brick, every cell in the body is changed, but the body as a unit seems to be still, even though it's changing. So that same thing happens with the identity. It just got so much attention, and as it got attention, as it became believed as a unit, it started, and it became a center, it started getting even more constant supply of attention, because everything now is related to that center or me. So actually realizing that movement of translating everything as relevant to me, that very habit of everything being relevant to me, about me, is just a habit pattern, movement of energy that keeps the unit, the seeming unit, the personal image solid, just because it got so much of that precious life essence that holds it into. Seeing that whole movement from the point when Heyman said, when you step back and you actually relax back to the field of awareness and see that translation of that self-obsession going on within that field of knowing, that could be really liberating, because then you realize you are the knowing of it, you're not it. This is just an object, that just a movement happening in the field of space of knowing. And all the self-obsession, all the selfing is obviously not me if I am the witness of it somehow. And it's just a habit, and seeing it as an object in consciousness and without judgment. Because if I have judgment and I want to stop it and I want to push it down and I want to do something about it, well, obviously I'm just feeding it again with a lot of attention, a lot of life essence. I'm making it important and giving importance to things, make them real. So suddenly, yeah, I don't know if realizing it kind of is a double sword word, because realizing is kind of waking up from it and making real at the same time. It's my English, but yeah, it could be just maybe a helpful pointer to.
You know, when I allow things to be, for example, I sit on a soft sofa and I allow things to be. I feel some a few seconds, maybe a little bit less or more, body try to take me back to itself, or mind. I don't know if it's mind or body, but something try to stop it and vacuum the attention inside. Believe me, it's not me.
Yeah.
I just wanna. I don't wanna do anything. I don't want anything. I just let it be. You know, I just allow things.
Yeah.
But something, you know, wants to stop the process. And you know, my guess is that because that stuff, I don't know if it's body or mind or together, they don't want to lose themselves. So they try to struggle to take their life back, you know, as an entity, which I give them energy for all my life, 99.9999999%. And now suddenly I just let them go. They don't want to go. Does it make sense? I mean, have you had same feeling and experience in inquiry or?
Yeah, see, wherever the attention goes, it just goes where it goes. You know, it's none of your business where is the attention going. If you are the field of awareness, allowing everything as it is, then whether the attention goes to the body or attention goes anywhere else, why would you care?
Just if I allow attention to get the body, it's not gonna be self-inquiry anymore. You know, it's not. I cannot let things be and allow anymore. I go back again.
Who goes back? What are you relating to when you say, "Oh, I may do"? Have a look at that.
You know, Bob, when attention gets inside the body and mind, it consumed by body and mind.
It's seemingly very solid, but there's nothing solid there when you look into it. Go right into where you're feeling it.
I think I need more time to be able to experience what you're saying. But as a beginner in the first levels of losing.
No,
I guess that word again.
that's okay. It's perfect.
Okay.
Well, look, if the attention is moving, wherever the attention is moving, and you are a pure field of allowing, nothing else, just allowing, and attention wants to move to the body, and there is a story that attention shouldn't be in the body because self-inquiry stops. Now you are a pure field of allowing. You allow attention to go where it goes, you allow the thought to comment whatever it comments, and you don't go on board with any of it. You are still staying as a field of allowing, as you said. You know, you're just allowing. Attention can go wherever. You're not controlling your attention, because the one who wants to control the attention is also the mind. So now you see the attention floating freely, and you see some thought saying, no, I have to direct my attention. I want my attention to be there and not there. That is a thought. That is just another thought.
But by the way, I really did not attempt to do anything. I just that I fail instead of, you know, I was unsuccessful. I said, let me come here and discuss it.
Wonderful.
And see how it goes. But I did not control anything.
Fantastic. That's
I just let
that's
the body.
great.
I I just
Yeah.
become person again. I lose.
It's just the belief you can't become person. It's impossible.
When that comes up, you think there's something there that's real, that's drawing you back, didn't you say?
Well,
Became person, yeah.
that thing which is there was me for almost 100% life. There's something there,
Yes, it's
apparently.
Seems very real because, as you say, it's been reinforced for almost 100% of your life, so it seems solid and real. But it's really,
Well, 100% I agree with you. But I insist that I need to experience things instead of knowing things theoretically. I know what you're saying, but what is the point in it? I mean, I need to experience
Yeah,
that
sure.
I'm really feel the
and
distance.
what would give you that information?
Experience.
Isn't it the innate intelligence you already are? Is the little I or me going to experience it? It's the same intelligence as bringing up letting that whole habit pattern arise of drawing back into it again. Try and find the one you think's doing all this. It's,
Well, I remember if I try to do anything, it's not allowing anymore.
isn't it?
Allow is as opposed to try or
All right. Keep trying till you're exhausted it if you want to try it. And you'll be a long, long time.
No, he says he doesn't want to try. He just keeps allowing.
yes.
And then what happens? Yes, you don't want to try, and that's fantastic. You keep allowing, so you allow the self-inquiry, the attention go wherever, and then the attention is sucked back in the body. You're also allowing that, and you are person again, and you're allowing that, and then another sort of self-inquiry will come, and attention will go, and you're allowing that. You know, if you allow everything, including the moments of being a person, but you are allowing it fully. There is no resistance to being a person at all. Consciousness wants to be a person. I am the consciousness, and I'm allowing it. I'm still consciousness. This person is just an image.
Kat, you said that generally.
Yes.
You didn't say that to me. Because you know. You told me.
Yes.
I did not disallow. I just allow everything.
That's fantastic. That's it.
including fail and unsuccessful.
That's it. That's
Because
it.
what is
Mhm.
what is that matter that I should be successful in? That's another idea.
Bravo. Yeah, bravo. That's it. If you have no problem with attention going back to the body or to the mind, you're the one with no problem. And attention is in the body and the mind. So there is no person. The person is imagined, but so what? Let attention imagine what it wants.
But I'm in the right track.
Yeah. Yeah, you are. The moment, see, Nisargadatta says, the moment you recognize that nothing is wrong anymore, you stop seeking because you're already a finder. You know, nothing's wrong. Whether the attention wants to imagine being a body or being the mind or being whatever else, I don't care. You know, I am the field of allowing, as you say, or I'm just the field of non-doing, or I'm nothing. So as a nothing, I don't do or oppose anything, including the identification. So if identification happens, I don't care, so it doesn't happen. And if it happens, I still don't care because I'm not it. So it's not me identifying, it's just some sort of an identification happening or not. But I am still the field of space-like awareness or nothingness or emptiness, which allows everything, including anger, including judgment, including attention coming back, including failure, totally everything. So I have no problem, nothing's wrong.
You cannot clarify things more than this. Thanks for that.
You already know it, which is wonderful. Yeah. And applying it, which is wonderful.
Are you allowing your breathing and your heart beating to happen? Or?
Yeah, the same way, in
I
the
have
same
no
way.
choice. Yes, that's right.
Exactly the same
I
way.
have no other choice. Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. Yes.
So in that openness, that will, whatever needs to happen will happen. It's not going to.
But who's doing that? I mean, you know, I see the self-inquiry, and I decide to allow.
See what happened?
Decide to allow.
Yeah.
Who doing the allowing?
But what happened there? Did you suddenly see what happened there?
Yeah.
You're sitting in it, then but.
Who?
As soon as the but or who, you're off on
Question.
another track. You're looking for it in the mind again. Full stop.
Yeah, because where do you expect to find the answer on who? Like what the answer are you expecting when you ask the question who is doing it? See, when you ask questions, you start looking for the answer. A moment ago, you had no questions. There was no problem, no questions. And then a question arises and takes you back to the mind. Oh yeah, who is it? Consciousness, awareness? What is the consciousness, awareness? And you start imagining that as an object. And then, of course, the whole thing is, which is allowed, okay? You allow it. Allow even that. Allow everything. Even the, little inner dialogue, asking questions, going back and forth. It's okay. It's just part of the play. If that is allowed and you are that field of allowing, you just laugh because it's not touching you. You are the field of allowing. And that one is just the children playing in a sand or mud or wherever, doing thoughts playing. No problem.
I have one more illusory question. I remember you said it can't not happen. I would like to know how sure you know that it can't not happen.
You want to believe it?
Is there any movement or change in this universe? Could it, if it wasn't happening, it couldn't be, could it? So everything happens as it happens.
Yeah, he wanted to be sure that the self-identity will fall away, for sure, 100%. Well, it definitely will when the body dies.
No, it won't fall away because it never existed. Never existed. Look at that. See how solid or substantial it is. Who is this one that's allowing it? Who wants it to stop? Isn't there a subtle image? That's me or I. Realise that's just happening by itself.
And also, I totally recognize your questions because I had the question also. And when I heard Bob saying, when I was coming here 5 or 6 years ago, that once it grabs you, once the consciousness got hold of you, it will burn you like this pail of cotton that when you put the matchstick on it, it will melt because you can't put down the fire. Or it will be like a salt dolly that you put it in the water and will dissolve. It will dissolve you. The consciousness is already taking care of it. You don't have to worry about that. And oh my God, it was like a honey. It was like a nice cool breeze, refreshing belief for me. And it was very, very helpful. That to believe that, okay, since I started having first insights and I started understanding certain pointers, now it will inevitably take me all the way home, which means it will take me all the way out of the picture because the me is illusion. So it will finish me off. It will kill me off as a separate entity. It was a helpful thing to hear. Is that true? From the perspective I am now, I'm being a bitch. I don't know. It was good for me to hear at some point. But it was many, many others who heard it too, and they're still seeking. So really, the question, wanting to have that sort of a insurance or that sort of a helpful belief that it grabs you already, it will take you home. Yeah, hold on to it if it gives you a peace.
I'll keep continuing.
Yes, if it gives you a peace of mind, if it puts you at rest and gives you some sort of a solace, yeah, consciousness will do whatever it will do. If it finds it helpful, it will. But ultimate truth is, it's gonna take who and where. The recognition is only in that moment that whatever is already as it should be and as it is, including the person believing that it stands in the way. It's just as it is. When you recognize it, including the identifications, it's all good, as it is, as it should be, as the consciousness of God wants it. That's it, because in that recognition, there is no resistance, even to identification. And identification has no stance, has no foundation to stay.
Well, these things don't have to be adopted per se. Like for me, it's more like somebody says something like the bad, and then it pops up and it's really knocking something else out of its place, and then it's forgotten about. You know, so it's not adopted, it's not held onto, it's not revisited as a belief at all. It's really maybe believed in for a moment or two, perhaps, I don't know. And then like a story around it, just taking away some other delusion. It's almost like the opposite faces of the cliff. Sometimes you go to one just to negate the other. And I don't think too much more about it because all that sort of thinking as well. But yeah, sometimes it just clears something else up.
There's one more thing which Nisargadatta pointed out, and it could be helpful also. He says the only thing that is required in the whole journey is the earnestness, and you have it. You have it fully, and I had it fully also. Like being commitment, a real commitment, being really earnest, being really like putting everything. It was the only thing in the world for me that was important. There was a point where relationship was important, and of course the seeking was half of the attention here, half there, and then the career was important. All that stuff worked themselves out, and I ended up with one single desire, and that one single desire got 100% of attention, and that's when Nisargadatta is talking about the earnestness or commitment, full commitment. Whether it really is any sort of cause and effect between that, I would question also, because it's really not a me that is doing anything. It's the consciousness just playing out this way. But you do have that quality. So if that's the only quality that would ever be required according to Nisargadatta, you have it. So you're okay. You're going to be fine.
I don't know if as a person or as my true self, I don't know what is more interesting than this. What is more interesting than this?
Nothing.
What can capture your attention and interest more than this?
TV,
Then this comes back. If you have interest on other stuff, why?
There you go.
Do we have something? You know, history shows us a lot of people, thousands, millions of people. I don't know, hundreds of thousands of people, super rich. There's suicide. They kill each other. They're involved in drugs, stuff like that. What other proof we still need to show us, convince us that there is no happiness in object? There is no happiness in object. People, please understand this.
Yeah, beautiful. So true.
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, a sense of separation, that's when it becomes objective. They couldn't, without a sense of separation, it's just it is.
Yeah.
Now you don't want to negate your beingness right now, do you? It's something most important. So naturally, and you don't even have to think about it. You're taking that next breath, expanding and contracting the heart to utilise the air, and moving the energy around the body so you can use that brain to come back with responses and words. Who's doing any of that?
You know, somebody or someone.
No.
See? But you see what you're doing subtly. As soon as I said that, you're looking for the answer in the mind, trying to grasp with the concept. No. Just drop it, don't say anything at all.
Or see it this way, if you really want to have an answer, when Terry was answering to Adrian, saying, moving the hand up and down. Who is doing it? Is it me doing it? Or is it what is doing it? It's no me, because me is a fiction. If you really want to know who is doing it, look closely and you will figure out that the whole universe is doing it. Absolutely every atom in the whole universe is doing it. If you don't see the connection, just look deeper. The oxygen that he is breathing, that transport the blood, that move the tendons, that grows the muscles, the nutrients that he eats, that enable that hand to exist, the brain that has to have certain nutrients that exist, that can exercise the command. Why that command and why in that position? It's because of every second of his life that he lived till now, because of his parents and parents of his parents, and the forests and the country and everything.
Well, I didn't want to say somebody or someone. I want to say somebody or someone who feels as somebody or someone is doing it, which is not.
Yes,
That was my answer.
it's not.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, ask yourself.
It's happening.
That's what I say. Ask yourself. Can you? Who's feeling it? You realise when you look, can't. But there is a feeling.
There's a feeling, but
So
there's
it's
no
fine, yeah.
ownership for that feeling. No,
But-
nobody's.
It's not
Yeah.
not claimed by anybody or not lost to anybody.
Yes.
Yes.
Um,
Now, take your stance as being claiming itself, or seeing itself.
well, I've had enough because I was doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
I think now is the time to losing it.
Yeah.
Losing what's already lost, what's
Yeah.
already
Yeah.
doesn't exist, you know.
Do it
And the
if
time,
if you can.
the time is every time too. There's a big tendency to put things into blocks and continuous solid blocks, which is again, defined concept. So it's really any moment in which there's just this, and then there's any moment in which there's some kind of filter or description or defining going on. It's just those, and so I think there's a good video clip by Rupert Spira on awakening isn't an event that I think is very clarifying. But yeah, there's not somebody who gets to a certain place. So there's, in some ways, like here, there's not been a belief or around. I've got this great urge to be enlightened. There's just been a move to do it more than anything else in my life over the last 3.5 years. That's really, sometimes the urge is to watch TV, and that's more interesting right now. A lot of the time, actually. And sometimes there's a noticing, that's helping block stuff drop. That telly watching has been really useful, and there's the urge to experience a lot of thisness, probably more than many people around. But that's only at those moments. And there's no thought about it. Someone says, why are you here? I'm not somewhere else. That's all I can truly say. And other times, I've stopped beating myself up for watching telly. That's cool. But there was no preference for it to be cool. Like they say, you've made progress. That's great, isn't it? It's like, well, there's no response to that because there's no thought about that being anything in particular coming up. There was just that experience of watching telly. There was that experience of noticing that the self-flagellation didn't happen. There might be a little bit of mind stuff like, that is cool, that is progress or whatever. And then there's feeling a bit stink because that progress thought was a bit of a retraction, There's just, little wee contents and little wee moments. And they're defined or they're not.
Can I say something on television?
Yeah.
Television is, which is to say, tell lies to your vision. It's the best tool to keep mind feeding itself and feeding itself and feeding itself. And television just keeps people in a circle that they've been before, and just repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. Make habits, give them belief systems, live like that, think like that, brainwash.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, not always.
Yeah,
For me right now it's
Best
therapy.
thing to do.
It depends on
But
how much eyeing is going on, and it depends on how much letting go or how much taking on is happening. So it's all contextual.
There are people who actually think more than when they switch on the TV. Before they switch on the TV, like I know people like this. They have some sort of a ADHD, or they have just normal sort of average mind that is all over the shop all the time, constantly imagining things, rehearsing discussions in their head, or planning another discussions. I shouldn't have told them this, or just being completely in the madness of their own thoughts. They switch on the TV to have a little break of their own madness, because there is only one singular voice talking some nonsense, History Channel or whatever, or News Channel or whatever. But it's just of the, speed of thinking is much higher than speed of talking. So some people who have particularly nuisance of the brains. And yeah, believe me, that's absolute torture. They're on the verge of the suicide with that type of a mind that is constantly chatting few different stories at the time and few different sounds. The television, as Tony says, it may be actually a therapy, because if not for television, they go for alcohol, or they go for drugs, or they go for sex or shopping or anything to distract themselves from their own inner voices, because they are so mad. If for you television is brainwash, for me also, because I don't really need much of the television because it's quiet here. So why would I induce some noise? I may occasionally watch some nice old movie, black and white movie or something we watch with Bob, or maybe some doc about nature. But generally, I would not distract that beautiful silence with the noise that they offer, advertisements and stuff. But this is this example. But I know there are people for who that noise of the TV and that brainwash of the TV is much less of the torture than their own setup, their own programming of their own software there in the mind.
Yeah, so there's different ways. Like, originally for me, like for years, television avoidance, and then there's one Kat talks about. And the third one for me is right now it's just total therapy. It's like scenarios. Like, oh my God, there's that bullshit in the head that is clarified somewhat more, and then it drops and it eases and it moves out of my life. So it's just like psychology or self-inquiry or any kind of just growing awareness of something, which doesn't have to be there for something to shift. Sometimes they just shift without any clue what was going on, Here, there just seems to be, because this brain's very conceptual, it sees the concrete scenarios and then it makes connections. And then it's like, then the connections are made, how this is happening in the life, and how it feels, and the contractions that are happening, and it's noticed the body's going this, and then it goes that when it's self-help, stuff, because the channels are opened and people are sharing, and things are getting lighter, and it's like, oh my God, this is how it's playing in the life on TV, which is the true life right now in the moment, is the life and the life. It's all true. There's no separation between whatever's showing up right now, whether it's on a screen in front of you or that's not less real than what happened yesterday in out of the park. But for some reason it just happens at the same time to show what's going on as it moves on out, as it becomes less of a hook in this setup, And that's just another way in which
Brilliant.
TV shows up in the life. Yeah.
And thank you for putting it up, because the tendency is always to have a strong judgment why we're one way or the other. Something is good or bad, this is good, or drugs are good or bad, TV is good or bad. No, it depends on the context. And yes, you could actually watch the movie and see how the character goes in the mind and have realization. Who knows? Everything is part of that consciousness expressing, including the television and drugs and everything else. Yeah, and Tony, when she, it's fantastic to hear that you can gain so much of the insight by, watching,
And it took a
Netflix.
few months of watching it before I realised that's what it was even doing for me.
Yeah.
And then I started beating myself up for doing it, so much, it still comes in.
And yes, there is this. You see, in the real life situation, people are not that honest. They're not that open. They're not that exposed. When you watch the reality show, or you watch some sort of a TV show or whatever, or even a drama, everything is kind of more exposed. So you have kind of even a deeper insight into the nature of consciousness, how it works. It is meant to be an entertainment, but everything can be used.
Sometimes it themes quite well, so it's bang in your face quite often. So.
From point of view of statistics, unusage or more than usage, television, unused or misuse people's mind more than use people's mind.
How much does your mind get taken up by what the other people are doing? That's the real question that matters.
I watch television when it's turned off, because I just look at the screen and I just
The fourth use for
allow.
Oh, this is brilliant.
Beautiful. Watch the mind when it's turned off.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
television shows us that we are content of the show, but if someone came into the room, Rupert Spira said that as well, that they ask you, instead of watching what's in the show, watch the screen. What you gonna do? You already watched the screen. So because I want to more comfortably watch the screen, so I turn off the TV and I just watch the screen. And I remember that I'm the screen. It doesn't matter what's happened in the screen.
Yeah,
It's not going to hurt the screen.
Beautiful.
like it as likening it to a reflection in the mirror. Same thing.
Exactly. Exactly.
When you say before there's something still think there's something there that's seeing it and doing it, didn't you? Who's doing it? Well, have a look at a larger scale. Who or what is rolling the earth around the sun? Who's forming the planets and moving them around, imploding them, exploding them? Who formed the space where they're all being contained in? Think you're going to find the answer somewhere?
I just got to, I just,
Go for it. Go for it.
it's really short. I heard the best thing I think I've heard in a long time today come out of you, Tony. And it was really short. It just made me laugh. I'm still laughing. Why are you here? Because I'm not somewhere else.
Yeah.
It just...
It's always been like that for me with the non-duality, not with other parts of my life. But
It's just beautiful.
Yeah,
Just,
she's got a lot of absolutely
true.
brilliant
of
points
course it
like
is.
this.
yeah.
but it's not a
Absolutely.
stock standard answer.
It's just that no other thoughts arise, and I always look, like whenever I say anything, I always check, and I might be filtered by the time it comes out, but I never bother with stock anything because it's just waste of bloody time.
That's what
Like,
I loved about it.
Yeah.
Because
Why,
we
you know?
normally go into a story
Yes.
as to, if someone asks you
Justify.
that question, we normally go into a
you
story
don't
as
need
to
the teacher to keep
why I'm
talking,
here.
you know?
But it's so much more truthful to just say, because I'm not somewhere else.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. She's got a lot of pearls like this. Yeah.
Well, it's because when I look, there is nothing in there. Yeah.
It's perfect.
So
Yeah.
insightful and so honest and so straight to the point.
It's like some people say to me, I haven't seen them for a while,
Mm.
so what have you been doing? And I just look at them straight faced and just say, just breathing in and out. What about you? And it just spins people
So
out.
what comes to mind
When
is
you
the
say
most
that,
recent thing that you
It's
noticed.
just,
Yeah.
that's what's happening.
Yeah.
It's just breathing in
I'm
and
not
out.
enough in that space for that. I do tend to come up with all the doing answers, but
But I love that when you
Yeah.
said that, I was saying, oh,
mm.
Yeah.
that's what I love about it.
Yeah. I love it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.